The night was thick with shadows, the air heavy with dread. Olive branches, gnarled and ancient, cast skeletal silhouettes in the flickering torchlight. Jesus, his heart heavy with foreboding, knelt in prayer. His disciples, weary from the day's events, slumbered nearby. He prayed for strength, for guidance, for the cup of suffering to pass. But his words were met by the rustling of leaves, the crunch of footsteps on dry earth. Judas. He emerged from the darkness, a smirking silhouette against the moonlit sky. His eyes, once filled with devotion, now glinted with betrayal. Roman soldiers, their armor gleaming coldly, followed close behind. Jesus rose to his feet, a sense of inevitability washing over him. He knew this was coming, had foreseen this night of pain and betrayal. He looked at Judas, his heart aching with sorrow, and quietly awaited his fate. "Greetings, Rabbi." Judas's voice dripped with false affection, a venomous serpent hidden in a basket of sweet figs. He leaned in, his lips brushing against Jesus' cheek, a grotesque parody of love and respect. The kiss, a symbol of intimacy and trust, was transformed into a mark of betrayal, a branding iron searing Jesus' soul. The soldiers moved in, their hands rough and calloused as they seized Jesus. Peter, his anger ignited, drew his sword, the sharp steel glinting in the darkness. But Jesus, his voice calm amidst the chaos, commanded him to stop. There would be no resistance tonight, no struggle against the inevitable. He would meet his fate head-on, his spirit unbroken. They dragged him through the cobblestone streets, a chaotic procession illuminated by flickering torches. The night air, thick with the scent of jasmine and fear, echoed with the jeers of the crowd. Jesus, his hands bound tightly behind his back, walked with quiet dignity, his head held high. He looked at the faces in the crowd, some filled with curiosity, others with hatred, and felt a pang of sadness for their ignorance. He was brought before the Sanhedrin, the highest Jewish council. False accusations flew like poisoned darts: blasphemy, sedition, inciting rebellion. Yet Jesus remained silent. He offered no defense, no justifications. His silence spoke volumes, a testament to his unwavering faith and the futility of their accusations. From the Sanhedrin, Jesus was taken to Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor. Pilate, a pragmatic politician, found no fault in him. He saw a man of peace, a harmless preacher, not the dangerous revolutionary the Jewish leaders painted him to be. But the crowd, whipped into a frenzy by the priest, demanded blood. "Crucify him." Their voices echoed, a chilling chorus of hate. Pilate, caught between his conscience and political expediency, washed his hands of the matter. He handed Jesus over to be crucified, hoping to appease the mob and maintain order. It was a cowardly act, a betrayal of justice, and it sealed Jesus' fate. The Praetorium, a symbol of Roman power, became a stage for cruelty. Jesus, stripped of his garments, stood exposed and vulnerable. He was a man of sorrows, his body bearing the weight of the world's sins. The soldiers, their faces hardened by years of violence, mocked him, their laughter echoing cruelly in the silent courtyard. They thrust a rough-hewn staff into his hand, a mockery of a king's scepter. They draped a scarlet robe across his shoulders, a parody of royal purple. And then, the crown, twisted thorns, sharp as needles, were woven into a cruel halo, piercing his skin, drawing blood that trickled down his forehead. "Hail, King of the Jews!" they jeered, their words dripping with sarcasm and hate. Jesus, his head throbbing with pain, bore their mockery with quiet dignity. He felt no anger, no hatred towards his tormentors, only a profound sadness for their cruelty and ignorance. He knew this was his purpose, to endure this suffering, to become the ultimate sacrifice. The beating was brutal, merciless. The Roman flagrum, a whip designed to inflict maximum pain, tore into his flesh, leaving his back a mangled mess of blood and bone. Each lash was a searing agony, a violation of his body and spirit. Jesus, his strength failing, crumpled to the ground, his cries of pain echoing through the praetorium. The soldiers, their thirst for blood unsated, continued their savage work. They spat on him, kicked him, their laughter a jarring counterpoint to his groans of pain. He was no longer human in their eyes, but a plaything, an object for their amusement and cruelty. They forced him to his feet, his legs trembling with exhaustion and pain. The cross, a heavy timber rough-hewn and immense, was placed upon his shoulders, a crushing weight that threatened to break him. He stumbled forward, his body a symphony of pain, each breath a monumental effort. The journey to Golgotha, the place of the skull, was a slow, agonizing procession. Jesus, his strength failing, stumbled and fell repeatedly, the rough wood of the cross digging into his wounded flesh. But still he rose, driven by a power beyond human comprehension, his eyes fixed on the hill that awaited him. The sun beat down mercilessly, a burning eye in the cloudless sky. Jesus, his vision blurring, his body racked with pain, stumbled onward. He could hear the jeers of the crowd, the sobs of the women who followed him, their cries of anguish a Greek chorus to his suffering. But, above it all, he felt a profound sense of peace. He was fulfilling his destiny, offering himself as a sacrifice for the sins of humanity. As he reached the crest of the hill, his gaze fell upon the two crosses that stood starkly against the sky. His cross, his burden, his salvation,